Hello, hello. I'm gonna give everybody time to come on in. Give everybody time to come on in. Hey, hey, hey. All right. I'm gonna let y'all come on in. Come on in, come on in. And then we will get started. We'll get started. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. All right. All right.
I'm walking to my car right now. I'm sorry.
All right. Give time for our speaker to come on in. Hello, Treble Clef. Hello, Leonard. Or is it Leonard Scott, number 4? Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, I'm giving people time to come on in, come on in, come on in. Those of you that are on Facebook, if you would just let me know that you're here. We are giving time for Mr. Speaker to make it to his car. Always a busy man, so we want to give him time to make it there. So, oh goodness, what a day, what a day, what a day. Hello, hello. It's so good to see y'all. Thank you so much for stopping in to spend your evening with us as Mr. Speaker is making his way. He's almost there. My guest speaker for the night. While he's moving and shaking, I'm just gonna go ahead and get us started like we always do. I'm gonna give it to y'all raw and uncut. So good evening and welcome to my R2C, my Real Resilient Conversation crew. It's Monday, Monday, Monday. What an exciting day to be here, an exciting opportunity to gather together and love on each other and share and experiences together. And because share one, teach one, right? So today is our day to really reach out and bring in a male perspective. So it is happy end of month, Philip. So if this is your first time joining us, whether you're alone or you're snuggled up, watching it live or on rebroadcast, I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you again for taking the time out to listen in, see what this whole Real Resilient Conversation thing is all about. So we come every second and fourth uh, Mondays in order to give you the opportunity to hear some of the quirky, crazy topics that come up, and I put them together in a way for us to become a more real, resilient people. And with that, that gives us the time to say this everyday life thing kind of makes sense when you're thinking about how to become resilient. So once again, if it is your first time, I'm honored to have you here. I hope that I say something, I teach a way that is beneficial to you and your growth in today and for future generations to come. So if you would do me a favor, it only takes 2 seconds, but it means the world to me. If you would like, share, and subscribe so that you, if not for you, but for those that are to come, can hear and be able to partake in the goodness that you're hearing on tonight, okay? So for my bi-weekly returnees, you go ahead and get ready to ramp it on up so that way you can share your thought on what tonight's topic, which is autumn, fall. What does that have to do with resiliency, right? And while you all are getting your fingers together to click clack and put it down there in the chit chat, I want y'all to say, let's go ahead and get your thoughts down there. While we're doing that, I want to say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me introduce tonight's guest, the one, the only, the man, the legend, the author, the speaker, Mr. James Sears. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you. Those of you that are on oh goodness, that are on what are you, Instagram, y'all just listen on in, okay? Y'all gonna be able to hear them. Mr. Speaker, go right ahead, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is James, Mr. Speaker Sears. I'm glad to be here. It's an honor to speak to you. I hope we can help in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Don't have all the answers, but we do have a lot of love for you.
Yes. So what I want y'all to know, he trying to be modest, but this man got all kind of accolades that follow behind him. He's multi-talented. He's a retiree. He has books out. He is the man. You hear? You hear? He's the man. So make sure, for those of you on Instagram, I'll make sure and put it in the chat later on. Make sure that you go out and follow him, show him some love. So those of you Y'all know what to do. Go ahead and put some claps, some hand claps down there in the chat. Let him know, show some real resilient conversation love. Let him know he's appreciated. And today is the day we're going to go ahead and get started. So, Mr. James, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and break some things down, and then I'm going to ask some questions. And when you feel ready, just jump on in there, kind of like a double dutch. All right? Try not to take up too much time. So, those of you that are down there in Facebook world, Instagram world, YouTube world, I haven't seen too many things, so we're going to press on. But anytime that you come on in and you hear it, I want you to say, hey, this is what I'm feeling. This is how I interpret today's topic, okay? So, of course, we're going to talk about autumn, fall. So, Mr. Sears, whenever you heard that the topic was autumn, fall, what do you think that means in reference to resiliency?
So first and foremost, autumn, fall symbolizes change, and life is change. And whatever resiliency method that you're using, it has to be designed to ebb and flow and change as you grow, as you experience new things. If you have a resiliency plan that doesn't change, it is bound to fail. So I want you to understand that it has to be something that can flow and change as we grow as human beings in this world over.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, okay, somebody said fall equinox. Somebody said, let's go. It's time, right? It's time for that change. And so I wanted to kind of break down the definition because, of course, Mr. Sears, you did hit it right on the head, right? So thank you for my compliment. Somebody said that I was a fashionista with my outfit. Thank you. I like to acknowledge my people that's giving me some love out here. So, of course, autumn is the third season of the year, which means that we had to go through other seasons in order for us to appreciate this one. And usually with autumn, that's usually the time where the crops and the fruits are gathered because that's when they stop taking in, they stop producing fruit, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So then at this time, we're like, well, before they stop, let's go ahead and take out and harvest the good things that we've already made, right? That have already been produced up until this point. So when we hear fall, usually, did y'all know that fall is only talked about in the United States? The United States of America is the only place that says fall. Everyone else says autumn. And the only reason why the United States says fall is because of the leaves falling. So they don't even acknowledge autumn. they reference it or they identify it as fall. So when we're talking about autumn, that's usually when what? The leaves change, temperature grows colder, everybody's starting to get their pumpkin spice, everything out. Those of y'all that's at the Starbucks right now, getting you a pumpkin spice something, your candles, all that fun stuff. Plants stop growing, food, they stop making and producing food. They also, animals start to prepare for the longer months. Animals, insects, squirrels, all of that, they start to prepare for the longer months and daylight starts to grow shorter. So whenever you're thinking about what resiliency means in relation to you in autumn, because you talked about the change, you're talking about evolving, let's talk about the season itself first. So there's seasons in our life, which we've always heard. There's reasons, seasons, or lifetimes, right? People that usually we associate that with. So when we're talking about the seasons in our lives, there's usually an autumn time in our life, and we don't necessarily connect the two. So what type of things in your life are still changing? When you think about January, where were you in January versus September? And how has your life changed or evolved since then? And because we're talking about that constant change, the things that change, because some of, like, for example, I was thinking back about before I put on all this weight gain and everything with my health, I said, well, Quita, you was still a bad chick back in January. Now you a little thickums, honey. You a little thick. It changed, but it still gave me the opportunity to say, and yet I'm still blessed. I'm still good. Somebody gonna love all these curves, this extra roll, this pack. They gonna love it. They gonna love these stretch marks. When you're thinking about how you've grown and how you changed since January, I'm still learning to appreciate this body and how it is, right? And if you don't appreciate what you have, what happens? We lose it. And what we're trying to avoid doing is losing the things in our lives that that make sense. Because just like the flowers and the leaves and the trees, they fall off. There's certain plants that don't come back, but usually what happens, the seed is still there. It still holds tight until it's time for it to reactivate. And there's things in our lives right now that need to be held over. There's some things that need to fall off in order to make room, right? And who has turned colder in your life? Right? I was talking about the temperatures getting colder. Who has turned colder in your life? Who has made you feel alone, not deserving, where you're shivering from neglect, abuse, because you're not properly clothed, not properly prepared, right? Animals are out here preparing. What makes us think we shouldn't still be preparing? This is the season to do so. And if plants stop making food during that time, like we talked about, they live off of what was stored from spring and summer. So with that being said, Mr. Sears, whenever you're thinking about things that have been saved or learned or considered during your spring and summer seasons of your life, what do you think, or what type of things have you done in order to prepare you for this season?
You purchased the right clothing. Number one, cold world out here. Well, I mean, mentally, you have to get your mind right as you go into this season, because, and I'm gonna say this to you, because a lot of us, we don't realize this, but the majority of those of us that have melanin in our skin, we come from tropical climate prior to being over here, and we didn't have to prepare for these seasons. It made the people who lived in colder climates a lot more resilient, because if they didn't prepare, they would die. I mean, and I don't mean like get hurt; they would just be dead, because if there's no food or the climate is such, so they had to be a lot more industrious during the summer and the spring in order to live through the fall and the winter.
Right.
And if you're sometimes when you're living in a tropical climate, you get a little lazy because you don't have to prepare for harsh weather.
until the hurricane comes, then you like, oh, we need to move.
It's gonna move
you. Okay, so let's jump into fall real quick, right? So we're talking about the leaves falling from the branches and the different colors that they are, and how that makes a difference in how we can appreciate the autumn season, right? So when we're talking about the autumn season, some of you may know, but the leaf has been preparing to fall from that branch since spring. It has made its way through the bark, it has made its way up, and it's come out at exactly the place that it was supposed to be, on that branch, and it has prepared itself to fall off at the time that it was predestined to, right? So it was already destined to be where it needed to be and to fall off when it needed to. It's not trying to find its way to stay stuck to this branch. It's not trying to find its way to still be associated with this branch. Now it can be appreciated on the ground. It can be appreciated in someone's craft. It can be appreciated on someone's wall. It can be appreciated as someone's keepsake. It can be appreciated in a different way. So I say that to say each leaf has a separation layer. Learn this. This is what happens when you do research, y'all. Each leaf has a separation layer, meaning that it knows when to separate. It's like, okay, it's coming up. I need to start going ahead and releasing. It's some people in our life we need to start releasing, shaking off, right? Rolling them off our shoulders, detaching, because they no longer serve us. And I think that is a lesson for us to learn in reference to leaves, and how they know when it's no longer the people, the places, the jobs, the businesses, the mindsets, the energy, relationships, partnerships, whatever it might be, it knows exactly when it's time to go. How often do we pay attention to when it's that time to let go? Usually we're trying to hold on. We like just a little bit longer. I know they cheated on me. I know they stole from me. I know they lied on me. I know they put me in jail. Whatever that might be, we're still holding on. Hey, I talk to a lot of different people, y'all. And then they allow people to put them in situations or mindsets or energies or emotions because they weren't ready to they were not willing to let go. And for some of you, you may have already heard this before if you've been with me long enough. Holding on to the rope hurts you more than just releasing it. You trying to hold on to something and they just letting you dangle off. They letting you think that you somebody special when you just hanging on like, please don't do this. Please don't hurt me. Please don't steal from me. Please don't misuse me. Please don't abuse me. You hanging on. All you had to do was let go. You was 2 feet from your new foundation. You were just too scared to figure out what that new foundation looked like. And you have to know when to fall back, when to cut the flow of access to you. And that's what the separation, that separation layer is for the leaf. I feel like knowing when to cut the flow of access. That branch no longer has access to the things that the leaf has been able to provide to that branch. So whenever I'm saying that, Mr. Sears, what do you get from that when we're talking about the separation layer of the leaf and having access?
I get a lot from it. And it just, but it's probably not appropriate for this show in the sense that a lot of young men don't know how to leave home, or they are holding on to that leaf without going on out and doing their thing. But I want to make sure there's another layer to that as well.
Okay.
To add to all of what you said, I'm trying to break it down in a scenario so people can understand. The leaf to the tree is sperm from a man.
Okay.
So the leaf has to break free or it can never go and ultimately be a tree. The seed that the tree has is in that leaf, and that leaf, it needs to fall on fertile ground, and it will, and if in the right time and place, it can grow into a tree. But it can't if it stays connected to the tree that it's with. So it is the, that's how we have more trees, because things come off of it.
Right. Being able to share that and knowing where it was fertile ground and what's the right ground. Because I'm sure it's a lot of men out there like they wish they wouldn't have spread some seedlings on those ground. You know? Hold on. They was like, that was the wrong ground. That was tainted ground.
Oh my God. That's funny.
So when we're talking about those spreading those seeds, and handling the seasons in life, and sometimes you have to be able to, like you said, break free, and also knowing where to impart. So how, continue to help the men out here, because usually y'all only hear from Quita. Help the men out here to understand how they can feel or know when to turn in this season, how to cope or how to prepare for a season such as this.
So, it's one of those things where change is hard for a lot of people. And I'm just tell you, sometimes it is difficult for guys to realize manhood is tough. Manhood is tough. You cannot stay under your. I'm gonna tell you right now, and a lot of guys don't want to hear me. They're gonna be upset what I'm saying. But if you're over 20, if you're over 25 and you're living at home with your parents,
you're not ready to be a man yet. You can't call yourself a man. That's right.
I'm saying is this. It's not over for you, but you need to put yourself on a path to get out on your own. Stand on your own 2 feet. If you can't, you get training wheels. Those training wheels will be a friend, and let me and a friend get a place together. But don't stay under your parents. That is because you just will never grow into who you need to be. It's going to be hard, but it's going to cause you to be resilient in a way that you will grow into the man you're supposed to be. But if you stay underneath somebody else, you will never grow into who you're supposed to be.
Right. I think because they are still trying to be connected. And if you are of the Christian faith, even there, it shows that you need to break free, right? You need to break away from your mother and father. You need to find a different way to cleave. And it may not, or it may be with a partner. And sometimes it is being able to to break or to cleave to something that is healthier, learning how a new trade, grow into a new person, meaning the things that our parents taught us and told us that we should do. At some point, if you are open to it, you may or may not be receptive of that. And you might say, I think I want to do some more research, because there are a lot of analytical people that learn things differently, that that have the opportunity to share differently. So
Yeah, no,
whenever
I think you're
go ahead.
tracking. I think you're tracking. You're right on. And I want to make sure I'm clear that I'm not telling a guy that's living at home with his mother to walk out and be homeless. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is put your intellectual energy in figuring out what you're going to do next, where you're going to go. Put your mind to saving your money, or buying things so that you can move in your own apartment. Get out on your own. If you can't, I'm saying find a friend. Let's move in together. Let's get us a spot. Let's split this rent. Let's figure this thing out. But you have to get out to spread your wings. You can't fly always attached to somebody else. You have to fly. And as a man, as a young man, like I said, manhood is hard, but you got to get to it. And we're struggling right now because we have a lot of individuals calling themselves men, and they're doing childish things. So we got to
I
get.
ain't even gonna dig. I'm gonna let that ride, because I'm gonna get in that thing, stir that thing on up. I'm gonna leave it be. I'm gonna leave it be. So when I'm thinking about autumn seasons for myself, right? I pay attention to when people start to show me their true colors. All this, people know how to wear a mask. So for me, when people are, when they start to change their colors, and as far as a leaf goes, I let them be who they are. I'm like, okay, you showed me this side of you, but you didn't want me to know about this side of you. And now it's time for me to understand this side of you. So either I can take it or I can leave it. But I need to know that either I'm going to ride with you or I'm not. There's, as far as when it comes time for people telling me they're going to do better, and then I wait. I don't say, here you go lying again. I say, okay. And then as soon as all of a sudden they were green yesterday, now they yellow today, now they orange tomorrow, I'm just seeing who you really are. Now, either I'm going to rock with you and your changes, or I'm going to say, that's too much, and I'm going to rock. On to the next. And it is a real thing, right? When the temperatures are growing colder, I am usually a warm and welcoming person. But as soon as I flip the switch, then they like, oh, I thought you was Miss Inspirational Speaker. I thought you was always nice. What you doing? And I'm like, don't take my kindness as a weakness. Because it's getting colder, I have to learn how to be cold too. I got to learn when it's time for me to say, you too much, you stealing too much of my energy, you taking too much of my time. I don't have the mental fortitude to deal with your mindset today.
This is this is very, 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 very important. We don't know when to stop pouring into vessels that can't hold what you're pouring into them. And you got a good heart and good spirit. You just want to keep helping this person and keep doing. If that, whatever you're pouring into them, if it's not taking hold and they're not getting better for it, or what we say, you're throwing good money after bad money, or what you're wasting your time trying to help this person. And it's hard for us when you want to help people. You want to help everybody that you come across, but there comes a time when you're not doing any help. You're in either enabling or you actually hurting them more than you're helping them.
Right. And I know that I was thinking, just like with a leaf, sometimes they are affected by what? Bug bites or bugs eating away at them. So they're losing life by allowing this other bug or an infestation of people, thoughts, mindsets, expectations to eat away at them. And once they do that, then they're like, I would like to provide to you, but I don't have anything left to give. And how many of us out here are like, that's me. That's me. I don't even know how much I got. I can't give you anything else. It's all gone. This person has snatched it away. This person has eaten away at me. And so the human damage of manipulation, of past hurts, of current situations, right? Because it's some humans that still tear away at leaves, pull them off the tree. There's human error, human damage, just like there's human damage in our lives now. People have hurt us, they've manipulated, they've misused us, they've abused us, whatever it might be. They have caused that damage to the leaf. The leaf. All right. So why do you think some plants over time start to grow thorns? Why do some plants evolve and they have spikes all of a sudden? I'm thinking about like a cactus. I'm like, back in the day, did a cactus look like that? Or did it have to evolve into what we know today? Because something or somebody, some plant or something was taking advantage of them. So then they had to find a defense mechanism. When it's time for us to change who we are, we have to get a little colder and as a defense mechanism to protect our peace. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. A rose is still as beautiful as it wants to be, but it still has thorns. Everybody can't access it. You got to be careful and you got to be deliberate about where you grab and how you grab it, because then there's going to be some defense mechanisms behind it. And I think you have to be colder and when people don't value your beauty. So at some point, the rose had to still be beautiful, but had to still be protected, who it was. And so your defense mechanism to protect your peace, it should be the utmost priority. If someone or something is pulling at your peace, when you go get ready to go to work, you got to sit in the car like, I'm not going to cuss nobody out. I'm not going to cuss nobody out. I can't deal with these people. I just got to get this paycheck. Got to get a paycheck. I got kids at home. I got bills to pay. Whatever you need to do to hype yourself up. But if it starts to affect your peace, you go in there, you have a whole attitude the whole time. You get in the car, you cussing, you fussing, you going off. You need to shift your priority to what's still going to enable you to have that peace. Right? Protect yourself by all means. Protect your peace by all means.
I like that. Separation. Sometimes what is required to protect yourself. And you don't always, it may hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It may hurt. It may feel good, or it can feel different ways, but you have to be able to discern that what you're doing for that other person is not helping them and or you. And then you separate.
Right. Yeah. That separation, like you was just talking about, we talking about leaves falling, right? That separation is necessary. That separation layer, it's not always going to feel good. Like, for example, I've been in a relationship and I did not want to leave, but I had to say, me staying is going to be, is going to hurt you later on because I stayed. Because then I'm going to start to resent you. Because then I'm going to start to treat you differently. Because I'm not going to love on you the way that I'm supposed to do it. So I need to separate myself. But that comes with maturity. That comes with learning who you are. That comes with appreciating who you are. And then also appreciating who the other person is. Saying that you're a great person. However, you're not the great person for me. Right? When I was married, went to Africa, wonderful man. I got there and then I got back and I was like, this might not be for me. I said, if I stay with you, I'm going to just hurt you. I have to find a different way to love on you, but from a distance as a friend, not necessarily as your wife. That was a hurting season because I knew that it was hurting him and it was hurting me because I was like, I only wanted to get married once. Never at any point did he live in the same country as I did. But it was more so about being able to fall back and say, we no longer serve each other. This is my time to break free. Whoever is the stronger one, you can hang back, but I think it's time to go. And so I think that the same thing with the plants that produce the food, they stop producing when it's time. Like we were talking about, stop giving out the energy, stop giving into people, stop pouring into people who don't know how to receive you. When they no longer serve you, they no longer deserve you. That job no longer deserves you. They don't pay you enough. Your family members no longer appreciate you. They're using you up. Cut them off. cut them off. You can still love on them, but from a distance, cut them off. Right? Stop giving them a place to lay their head, money in their pocket, food to eat, when they would not ever break their back, look twice if you ask them for the same thing. It's time out, because now we are so emotionally, mentally, spiritually depleted. Physically, it has become a representation of what we've been going through. So once again, if animals take the time to prepare, like he was talking about, don't find you a winner, boo. Don't find yourself instead. Find out who you are instead. Learn to be alone before you can be with someone else. I talk about this a lot because people are like, how are you always by yourself and you always happy? I'm good. Oh, baby, quit a good vibes, huh? I'm good with somebody, but I'm good by myself too. Because guess what? When it's time for me to have somebody, I'll be prepared, because I know how to love appropriately. I know how to love without the expectation of someone else feeding into me in order for me to feel loved. That's just icing on the cake. That's the cherry on top. I already know how to love me, right? If you don't know how to love you, then you need to manage your relationship with yourself. Figure out where the root came from. Right. I was watching something earlier today, and Viola Davis was like, own your past, own who you used to be, own your trauma, own it, because that is what makes you beautiful. At some point, a rose had to go through all of the things in order to create the thorn along with it budding. It had to go through. The thorns had to push through the stem. That was a hurting time. However, that doesn't stop you from being beautiful. That doesn't stop you from being handsome. That doesn't stop you from being intelligent. That doesn't stop you from being successful. Own what you went through. Own who you are. Own it in order for you to grow through it. Okay? So manage your stress. Manage your relationships. Find new hobbies. Guess what, y'all? I done started doing karaoke. Can't sing a lick. I love it, though. That's my new hobby, right? And I'm like, in this season, if this is what I need in order for me to feel alive, for me to still feel like I'm having a good time, for me to release some of that heaviness from day to day, that's what I'm doing. I'm out there like, I got the mic. We go rock it. And even if I can't sing, they just laugh with me. But find you a way to get out. Do something that's fun. Do something that reinvigorates who you are this season. This season, go for a walk. Soak up some sun. Change your vitamins. Right? Hydrate. Read a new book. Whatever you need to do. Support others. So those of you that are here today, I say thank you, thank you, thank you for still coming in on a Monday night to support me, right? That is what it's about, supporting others, bringing on my brother to showcase his contribution to mentorship, to having his own book, for being who he is, being a speaker in itself, being able to highlight someone else. This is what it's about. All right. So last thing, we're talking about daylight time becoming shorter. Enjoy the time with the people that you have now. And when you're talking about that, it seems like our days are so short. We went through pandemic, we lost people. We came out of pandemic, we lost people to other things. We were fighting for equal rights, and we're still losing people to health. And because we're losing people so fast, we're not taking the time to appreciate them during the times that we have them. So I really wanted to say, take the opportunity to love on those next to you, far away, and those that are to come. We meet people for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Let this season be a testament of what you can do in order to grow yourself in resiliency. So before I go into my outro, Mr. Speaker, the time is yours for the floor. Anything you want to say to the people concerning autumn fall?
I think it was a beautiful message. We are losing daylight time. So my birthday is June 21st. That is the actual equinox. And every day after June 21st is the longest daylight day of the year. And then every day after that, there's a little less daylight. Um, it's still got 24 hours in a day, but it's a little less daylight each day,
Mhm.
all the way up until the end of winter, and then it starts to build back up. But what I would say is companionship, friendship is a great way to be resilient.
Mhm.
I like the part about you saying love yourself, because a lot of people are having a hard time. People shame you. They say, "Oh, you're arrogant."
Mhm.
Well, I'd rather somebody call you arrogant than anything else, because you love yourself. And what happens when we stop loving ourselves is why people have so many suicides, because
Mhm.
we let other things become more important than us to us. So we got to be
Mhm.
real careful with that monster. Depression is a monster. I mean,
Mhm.
it has no love for you, and it will kill you. And
Mhm.
so find some accountability partners and love yourself. Find ways to love yourself. Stop saying no to yourself if you
Mhm.
can. That is I'm just telling you some things that I had to do for me, is to
Mhm.
start saying yes, or trying to find a way to say yes to yourself. Love on yourself. Take yourself out on dates if you have to, but do
'Cause I
things
do
that
that.
make you happy. Okay,
Mhm.
go right ahead.
No, no, no. I was saying because I do that too. I take
Okay.
myself out on
Yes.
it.
Love you. You got to love you.
Mhm.
You know how best to love yourself. And don't be upset when you meet somebody that it doesn't know. You is a part of you telling them,
Mhm.
this is my love language. This is what I like. If you
Mhm.
don't tell them what your love language is, don't get mad if they don't deliver it.
That's true. That's true.
Tell them.
Okay.
It's not a
Mhm.
it shouldn't be. There's a lot of things that we got to figure out about each other, but certain things that you already know, give them the answers.
Mm.
Give
A
them
little
that.
cheat sheet. Give him a little cheat sheet.
You want them to get that right. Love me. Love
Right.
me right, partner.
Right. Well, that is our time. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's show. If you came in late, that's okay. It's going to be available for rebroadcast here shortly. Um, I pray that something that we said is a jump start to your resiliency with yourself, your present, your future, and those future generations that are to come behind you. I hope that it was a time to enlighten who you are. So, Mr. Sis, I want to tell you thank you, thank you, thank you so much for taking time out of your night to come and give us the male perspective, a real perspective of your view and how you see things. That is so important and so much appreciated. So those of you, if you're in here, go ahead and put some hand claps down in the chat box right here. Make sure that you make sure and show the appreciation to Mr. Sears. I don't just want to say it, I want other people to show their gratitude as well. So if I have said something once again that has touched you, or you think it would be beneficial to someone else, please make sure that you like, share, subscribe, so that we can continue to grow together as a people. So you want to come back. You want to come back. Make sure you come back on 10 October, and our topic is going to be board games, not BOARD, but BORED, board games. Y'all know that this is cuffing season, so we're going to talk about the board games that are to come and how you can be resilient behind it, okay? So the BORED, board games, will be on 10 October, same time, same place, with the same face. Until then, I love you, thank you, and appreciate you for once again making this as successful as only you can make it. So I will see y'all later. Don't miss it. Mr. Sears, stand by. Thank y'all so much. I will talk to y'all later. Love, peace, hair grease, and so if I had my little skates, I'd be standing. Yeah. See you later. All right. Y'all hang tight.